Hello, everyone, and welcome again to the last episode for 2023 of Ignite with Sandy. So, for those of you who are watching us for the first time, what is Ignite with Sandy? Ignite with Sandy is me interviewing women from all over the world, from different walks of life, bringing you inspirational stories, bringing you lots of information from experts in their field that can make your work life better, your personal relationships better, your health better, and make you feel much, much happier going forward. So this time I thought, why should I just have one guest? Why shouldn't I have my favorite people on this final show for 2023? And so I decided to reach out to some of the ladies, and I know they're all very busy. But you know what? They've been so obliging and they've all decided to join me. So remember, we're on the Celestia platform. And what is Celestia? Celestia is a platform for work life balance for women. And we share stories so that we can, what should I say, inspire each other to do better in our lives, to feel happier, to be healthier, and of course, to be more successful. So, as is my practice, I never ever introduce my guests, and today I have four of them. So, I'm going to bring them one by one, and they are going to give us a brief introduction of themselves. So, my first guest today is Dr. Shweta. Welcome to Ignite with Sandy. Could you please tell us in a few brief sentences what you do, who you are, and what makes you tick?
Thank you. Thank you very much, Sandy. It's always a pleasure to come to your show. I think we have had this a couple of times in the past. You're amazing as a host. So good evening, everyone. Good morning, wherever you are. I am Dr. Shweta Adatia. I joke and I say I'm a brain plumber, which means I fix broken brains. But more than fixing broken brains, being a neurologist, what I really like to do is ignite, or I'm using ignite because right there you are seeing ignition from Sandy, ignite the normal brains to bring out the best of the brain. So I'm also a neuro researcher, and my area of research and interest is how can one have a limitless brain? How can you go beyond all the boundaries and the limiting beliefs of mind and brain and have a wonderful, happy, healthy, and an amazing life where you can contribute to humanity and planet at large. So I've been in here in Dubai for the last about 7 or 8 years. I had a wonderful life. There are two kinds of marriages, Sandy, in India: love marriage and arranged marriage. There are two careers: love career and arranged career. My medicine career was kind of arranged because my both parents were into medicine. But then what happened was 5 years of MBBS, 1 year of internship, 1 year of pre-medicine, 3 years of medicine, 1 year of pre-neurology, 3 years of neurology, and 2 years in stroke. Boom, 15 years, and I fall in love. Today, if somebody asks me to treat a kidney or a heart, I can't, period, because this is who I am. Everything about me is brain. And every day literally is like my date with the brain. I call it my romance because brain is such a powerhouse of things which can bring everything out. So today, I'm very excited to be here, Sandy. Thank you very much for the invitation.
Thank you very much, and we shall catch you later. And my next guest, please do introduce yourself, my dear.
Hey, everybody. So, when I first started working in healthcare, I thought I could change lives. I did, but not as much as I would have liked. Because you know what I realized as a clinical dietitian in a hospital, we are reacting to diseases, and there's not much time or space for preventive care. And like, especially when it comes to lifestyle diseases. And then my move to hospitality happened, where again I thought I could change lives, but again, it wasn't happening because there the chefs were all about culinary experiences and they're largely about taste, right? It's all about high fat, high calorie, low nutrient ingredients, etc., which is again a great combination to reach the hospital faster. Add in diet culture, jibber jabber from social media, and you've got the perfect concoction to mess things up for everyone. Hello, everyone. Lovely Ranganath here. And taking all of this about me, the fact that I love to educate, it's very natural for me to position myself as a nutrition educator, which is what I'm passionately pursuing right now. which is basically filling the gap that I experienced in healthcare, hospitality, and social media through my handle, Good Food Guru. So that's me.
Wonderful. Thank you very much, lovely. My next guest, and I'm bringing her on. Hello, my dear. Please introduce yourself to our audience.
Yes, good evening, Sandy. Hello, everybody. Thank you for having me. And I'm very excited to be part of this amazing women. My name is Raida. I empower professionals and organizations to basically change. I do that by using brain-based coaching techniques and military-grade strategic thinking to navigate through change in today's VUCA world. I believe my unique upbringing and experiences has given me a broad perspective and deep understanding of the concept of change. I had the experience to work in different industries in different countries, and having to adapt to different cultures helps me to help others navigate through this changing times.
Okay, thank you very
That's me.
much. And we're going to see you back in a couple of minutes. And my final guest, please introduce yourself.
Hi, everyone. Sandy, thank you so much for organizing this, especially when we are going to be moving out of 2023. A little bit about me. My name is Jennifer Randive, and I address myself as the Maverick CEO. Many people say, what on earth is that? So I truly believe that change is constant. However, changing is a personal choice, right? So I come from the background of being a corporate junkie. I've been that for a good 24 years. And what I gathered was it was such an amazing thing to be able to find people for the perfect job. So I was in executive search and selection, enjoyed the stint tremendously. And then came a time when, oh my God, things started shifting and changing for me personally and in my professional life. So I actually did a hop, skip, and jump, and tried to move on to the other side where I saw that I could help many people to actually stay in the jobs that they were. So I started working with organizations and with individuals to help them to really get out of their own way. Many people didn't know that they were in their way. So my job now is to actually help people to get out of their own way. And how did I do that? Very simply, I had to learn to get out of my own way. And that's how I help other people to get out of their own way. So, in short, being a maverick is about shifting status quo.
Thank you,
Helping people.
Jennifer. That was really great. And yes, we all need to get out of our own way. And I think we'll be talking about that much more later on in the show. So now I'm going to start my questions. And I'm going to be looking in at the various experts, as I said, that we have. And I would like to bring on Dr. Shweta. So, because she is the lady, we're going to start from head to toe, right? So, since Dr. Shweta is the one who's dating the brain every single day. So, Dr. Shweta, this is the question for you and for the rest of the our panel today is what are your personal observations regarding career, business, and health? Because a lot of people come to you with different issues related to obviously the brain. So, do you feel that this is something that is what should I say? It's something which is related to stress or related to certain hormones, which are then playing some tricks with the brain or something. So, can you give us a bit of insight on that?
Yes. So, Sandy, thank you for that question. I practice at Gargash Hospital in Dubai. We are so tuned. I'm not using my specs, so my brain has just registered that there was a specs which is not. So, brain is like that, it registers and keeps the information. Well, 2023, we have seen a lot of interesting, I would say, problems. Sleep is one of them. every single week I see a few people struggling to sleep. People come and say, I haven't slept for 2 months, I haven't slept for 3 months. Sleep has been one major issue that we are seeing it often. We are seeing migraines, right, left, and center. People with headaches, which is hemicranial in nature, vomiting, nausea. We are also seeing people stressed, yes. And because of that stress, I never say stress is the reason for the disease, but it is one of the major contributors. So indeed, we are seeing a lot of people with those problems as well. Now, neurology, many years back when I did my neurology, people said, oh, you like talking, and that is the reason why you chose to be a neurologist. But today, it's such a different practice, with the advent of so much of data, with so many new molecules. It's just wonderful to be being able to help the patients. And I think the biggest takeaway for me in 2023 was use of some of these AI modalities, some of the smart monitors, some of the things which you can sort of look inside your brain and then figure out what's wrong. Now, the interesting thing in all this is sometimes we feel that I'm normal, completely normal, but I do have some emotional issues or something which is deep within. And in my 2023 practice, that is what I was able to bring it out with some special instruments, etc. We'll keep chatting and talking about it. So seemingly normal people can also have stored hurts, emotional issues, and then I call it, it's like a cascade of events: psycho, neuro, physio, immuno, endocrinology. So it all starts with psycho, goes on to the brain or the hardware, and then flows into various parts of the body: psycho, neuro, physio, immuno, endocrinology. So most problems, which are also physical in nature, has a connection to the thinking pattern, to the mindset, to the brain set, I would call it, to the entire surrounding, etc., the job stress, the health stress, the life stress, blah blah, relationship, etc. So that also contributes to a lot of physical ailments and physical illness. Yes, of course, during this year we saw a lot of flu, all kinds of flu as well, causing headaches of different kinds. We saw some facial palsy. So it was again a challenging year in terms of the people's health, because on the whole, Sandy, if I can say one word, medicine is advancing, but technically the health is deteriorating. And I think that's why all these conversations, heart to heart, are very important, because I don't want anybody to really to fall sick and come to us. It's not about business, it's about the health of the people at large.
Wonderful. I think you made a very, very strong point, because a lot of people struggle, and many of them don't go to people like you who actually can solve the problem. And they start taking all kinds of, medicines and off the counter and all kinds of things. And sometimes they even go to the wrong doctor, and then that
And
sets off a
the biggest
whole
doctor
lot
is
of.
Google, Dr. Google. A lot of people come to me and say, hey, the Google said I have cancer. So I want a scan right now, because when I Googled it, it was cancer. So yes, Google is also one contribution, both in good ways and not so good ways.
Yes. So now we're going to be moving. Thank you, Dr. Shweta. I'll be coming back to you. And we will now be moving to a very important part is what we eat and what we drink. And when we are having all this stress and whatever else, we seem to sometimes be eating the wrong things. So I'm going to ask that question of my next guest, Lovely, because she's very much involved in health and nutrition. She's been a dietitian. She's done it all when it comes to what should we be putting in our mouth. So, my dear, could you please tell us, in this year that has just passed, what are the various things that you've seen which are, happening quite often, and what are you going to do about it?
Oh, Sandy, thank you for this. Definitely confusion. Just exactly what Dr. Shweta said, right? There's a lot of confusion. When you think of it, the confusion is over a simple act of eating. I say, like, we go to space as if it's like next door to us, but we're so confused about this basic act of eating. Let's start with how, we've come to this understanding. We all know a basic understanding of human health and nutrition. And the key is a balanced diet, which is centered around whole foods. Yet, amidst all this clarity that we have, there's this constant buzz, right, on social media about the most insignificant details, like, is a green apple better than a red apple? And you're like, come on, that's not the kind of conversation we want to have. So it's important to remember that while we discuss, and also the other thing is, I think as humans, we've come to this point right now, we know so much. We are splitting our body into different parts, right? Like right now, gut health, that's the buzzword. Or few years back, if it's heart health and immunity, brain health, the fundamentals of human physiology are not changing. And also, what I want to give away this time is the insight that even foods, the variety of natural foods available to us, remain constant. Both of these are constant, the human physiology and the foods available to us. So it's us humans who categorize, the foods into superfoods, bad food, good food. You won't believe it the other day. I know you guys will believe it because you can see it for yourself. I saw the other day in the supermarket two uh, soft drinks. One was called Keto Cola and the other was Organic Cola. And I was like, come on, this is exactly what the narrative is about, rejecting conventional food due to health concerns. And then we are actually seeing the healthier, so called healthier versions, which was initially condemned. Like, why do we even have to have a keto cola when the whole diet trend of keto is pointing fingers at the conventional balanced diet and saying, hey, that's not good and this is good. So it's all about that diet trends, right? So basically, for me in 2023, it was getting this understanding in a huge way in social media that we seem to have lost sight of the bigger picture. Basically, we seem to have lost the plot. And for me in 2024, I'm definitely going to be the voice that wants to sort of put people in perspective, things in perspective for people. So that's what I aim to do.
Quite true, lovely. In fact, I'm one of those people who does browse around for health foods in supermarkets, and I have to say this: I very seldom end up buying any of them. I
Good for
just
you.
stick to the conventional, the fruits and vegetables. And the other thing that I've found is that because of accessibility, forget about the carbon footprint,
Yeah.
accessibility, we are getting fruits from Peru. Like
Mm.
it's a 16-hour flight
Yeah.
from here to Peru. All right, so we're getting fruits from Peru and from Madagascar. Now, for me, I don't want to seem ignorant, but Madagascar is, that cartoon that they have on TV, that one.
Yeah.
So
Leave
I'm
it, leave
thinking,
it.
okay, so we're getting all these so-called exotic fruits from here, there, and everywhere. Not only fruits but vegetables.
Yeah.
And why should I eat them? Maybe they're even out of season. What happened to the time when we ate seasonal fruits and vegetables, right? And they
Yeah.
were just absolutely wonderful. We didn't have to, as you said, the keto and I don't know how many names they are, and they come and they go. It's a fad. But as you said very rightly, we are inundated on social media.
Yeah. We are.
So, and that I think is we need to take a step back on that. But moving
Definitely.
on to now the next part, which is all about all about our business. What are we doing? Where are we doing it? How are we doing it? Are we doing it okay? Are we facing problems? Do we need help? And for that, I'm going to bring on Raida, because Raida is a lady who has done a lot of trainings, a lot of certifications, and she's going to tell us that in 2023, what did she observe when it came to people running their businesses, wanting to start a business? Everybody wants to be a startup. Everybody wants to be an entrepreneur. Everybody wants to do, things this way and that way. And I think they're pretty confused. So, Raida, please enlighten us on that.
Yes, Sandy. So what I've noticed, and the industry has noticed, that there's a lot of need for coaches. The organizations and individuals are starting to realize the need for this support. And I think the concept of when people are starting to realize that you need help doesn't mean that you're giving up, but actually you're refusing to give up. And the organizations and individuals are seeing that coaches can play a very vital role in seeking that clarity, seeking that goal-oriented individuals who can help them navigate through these unpredictable times. So I believe that in today's world, people are starting to realize what changes and what challenges and how we can navigate through them. So this is what's happening right now, Sandy.
All right, my dear, I know that, but now comes the next question. And again, we're looking at social media, we're looking at LinkedIn, online presence, etc. And everybody is now jumped on the bandwagon of making us better. So we have mentorship and we have leadership and we have this and we have that. So as a person who's looking for something, I'm already confused, right? So how would I know what is going to be appropriate for me? How would I know to come to you, for example? What is it that you are doing so that I can say, okay, yes, this suits my what I think should be fine. So when you're looking at people who are inquiring about you, coming to you through referral systems or whatever, do you do a kind of an assessment to see that, yes, can I really help this person? Whatever this person is searching for, is confused about, am I going to be able to help them? Do you have any kind of assessment that you do?
So, what happens is you're very right. A lot of people try and research everything, but we are all different. We're all unique. I mean, you have two children, I have two children, and they're so different. And when we research things, we think if that works for you, it would work for me. And that is completely the opposite. And that's why we have different ways to start looking at things or investigating the things that would help us. Now, when it comes for a coach and a coachee relationship, it's a two-way concept. It's not that I look for them or they look for me. We need to match. It needs to have that chemistry. So there is a discovery call that we sit and discuss, what are the clarities that they need to go through. It's a journey. We learn as much as they learn, and to keep going through their challenges, I think every coach needs to be very, very inquisitive. When you're inquisitive, you will understand and navigate through anybody's brain. People usually don't think that they know themselves, but nobody knows you more than yourself. So when somebody just helps you and asks you those right sets of questions, in my case, I use brain-based coaching techniques, solution-based questions that helps them to just sit back, reflect, and think. People are not the same, but at the same time, we all have one thing in common, and that is achieving our purpose or having the satisfaction of getting our goals.
Absolutely, Raida. Thank you very much for sharing that. That brings a lot of clarity because, as I said, we're pretty confused about what we should be doing. And so I'm now going to be bringing on my next guest. And I would like to say one thing about her. She's unique. All right, so Miss Unique, tell us, 2023, what did you observe?
As everyone has already mentioned, Sandy, earlier on, everyone is stressed and everyone is confused. So what happens is, as the way that we are trained, we have actually bought into, is that now everyone has to fit in. Everyone's trying to be like someone. Everyone's trying to do something perfect. And all I keep seeing is there is so much of desperation. And when people are desperate, they reflect on what it is they've done wrong. So there's a lot of judgment that goes along with it. So there's confusion, stress, um, judgment, having to prove yourself. And what's happening as a result is the confusion is amplifying. It's not actually creating anything new. And that is what I think requires for us to seriously to stop, to listen to what's going on, and to truly answer questions that come through awareness. So, asking questions, as Raida mentioned before, is very essential for us to navigate and to create something totally different. I think most of us are so attuned to wanting to maintain what it is that we have learned or actually inherited from everything that we've experienced. So, be it work, be it home, be it as kids, be it with teachers, be it with parents, grandparents, we were young and we actually picked up everything that was going on. And we didn't address anything at that time. But what has happened is that we have already formed how we should be operating. And then we hold on to it so tight. So we don't actually have a chance to change or do anything because we're stuck in it. So I'm here to help people to unstick themselves, to uncover and discover their unique personalities, where we can actually create something totally different and have fun doing it. We are not having fun. We've got to change that, really.
I agree with you 100%. And now I'm going to thank you, Jennifer, for that. And I'm going to move to what we are going to be doing in 2024. So 2024, and I'm going to bring back Dr. Shweta because she's maybe she's dating. Oh, you're back there. Okay, so now Dr. Shweta, you've shared with us about people having insomnia, people having all kinds of pains in their head and other parts of their body, and they have no idea what this is all about. And we just heard from Jennifer that it's why don't we just lighten up and loosen up and have a little more fun. So I know that you're a very, very busy person, but yet you have time to write books, you have time to dance, you have time to play the tabla and all kinds of things. So going into 2024, since you have achieved this kind of a balance, what would your advice be on how people can be mentally and physically in their mind in a better place?
Super. So I think I'm myself also looking for a wonderful 2024 because we are always upgrading and evolving ourselves. Even right now, as I speak, 1 second before, my cells, my entire physiology, my mind pattern, my thought was not the same. So the beautiful thing about every single person is we keep on changing. So my first advice to anybody here is, and that goes to me as well because I hear it first, is that don't be afraid of change. You need to embrace that change because something good can always come out. Now 2024 for me is going to be very amazing because we are doing this documentary of high achievers. We're going to scan inside the brain, actual physical brain, and then we're going to look at the circuits, etc., to know what is in it that is resilient. But by the way, when I have studied these brains for last 6 or 7 years, we have found some 174. So we actually studied 174 parameters. But one thing which was coming time and again is what makes one person have the balance and achieve and the other person not so much with all the problems, and that is clarity. It is so important to be clear on my purpose or your purpose of living. What is that why? I'm a great fan of Simon Sinek, and I think that why, because in the brain, if you do not give a meaning, we've all evolved from the creepy, crawly creatures to mammals to apes and then to human beings. And the human beings have this wonderful frontal lobe or the prefrontal cortex, which is the seat of discrimination, power, judgment, decisions, executive abilities. Our job is to get out of the emotional redundancy or the loop that we are in. Believe me, 50,000 thoughts, but it's just the one thought or couple of thoughts which get stuck, and then move on and evolve into the prefrontal cortex. Clarity, absolutely necessary. The why of my purpose, my existence tomorrow. First of all, I always thank God. I'm having utmost gratitude because when I see my patients suffering from neurological problems, I go to my clinic ward and then somebody cannot speak, somebody cannot have a hand which is functioning. I feel very blessed and honored and grateful that my two hands and legs are working. My mind is sharp enough to understand the difference. All I need to do is say thank you, be grateful, and then move to my purpose of why. the clarity. So, Sandy, my one message for everybody under the sun, moon, and planet for 2024 is write down your purpose, write down the steps, break it down those steps, because when you have bite-sized information, brain works amazingly well. And do everything, all the hacks it takes for the prefrontal cortex, which is the seat of human existence.
Wonderful. And that was really great. But I wonder how much people would be really able to do what you're saying, because at the end of the day, we all seem rather confused. So I think one of the important things for anybody who's going to be watching this is to pay very close attention to what you're saying and to follow that, because what you're saying is pretty simple. But most people want to complicate matters when they're actually quite simple. Yeah. So thank you very much, Shweta. We'll be coming back to you, and I'm going to move to my next guest now. So, lovely, what I would like to you to talk about going into 2024, considering that every single month we see new fangled stuff on the market, and a lot of stuff on social media promoting this, promoting that, telling you how you'll be looking so many years younger, how you'll get so much energy, you'll get so much concentration, blah blah blah. So what is it that you would advise going into 2024 when we are looking at our diet and our nutrition? And also, I would like you to explain to our viewers in some short sentences, is it all food okay for everybody? Or should we be thinking of different things when we are actually buying stuff for ourselves? So I'll give you my example. I
Sure.
love to eat bread. I like to eat the Indian chapati. But the moment I eat it, I get bloated, although I love it. Right. And on the other hand, I'm not very fond of rice, and people say don't eat too much rice, but I can eat rice and I feel absolutely comfortable. I fit into my clothes. I have no problem at all. So just one of the small things that I'm talking about myself.
Right.
So can you please tell our viewers what are the sort of basic points that they should keep in mind when they're going shopping, not only for themselves but for the family?
Sure. So, Sandy, you brought out a very vital thought, right? When you said bread makes you bloated. This is where I talk a lot about critical thinking in my all my platforms. In fact, we even have a course for dietitians where we are training them on the simple thing as critical thinking. So when you told me you have bloating, for me it's very easy on social media to go and say, "Oh, gluten is bad. You shouldn't be having. That's what's bloating you." But if I'm going to take a step back and think critically for you, the few questions that I would ask or I would want you to ask is, am I overeating the bread when I eat? What kind of bread is it? What time is it? Was I stressed? Because there are a lot of factors, right? That might, it could even be that you're actually bloated with bread. You don't have, but you need to have some kind of a thought process before making a decision that is this gluten that's giving me the trouble, or is it the quantity of bread that I'm eating at one sitting, because you did mention that you like it. So for me, I would think everybody needs to have a flexible approach, adopting to new information and personal health needs. Example, someone who became lactose intolerant at 50 years of age. Now, number one, you accept it as part of genetics. It's part of the aging process. You have to start experimenting with different lactose free options and take it in your stride. So, it's like basically trying to be openness, adaptability, and a willingness to evolve, which is very, very essential to maintaining a healthy relationship with food and our bodies. So, yes, it has to be personalized, but at the same time there has to be a thought process that every individual has to bring to the table, because exactly what Dr. Shweta said, this has to be personalized and individualized. You cannot just make a blanket because if you are going to ask a random person or just go on social media, you're going to get a definite answer that bread is bad without anyone asking you all these relevant questions, which is where the critical thinking has to come in. So I think the second thing that I also want to tell everybody is we need to embrace progress while acknowledging the past. This is something which I want everybody to do in 2024. See, as a species, we are always moving forward, right? We are updating our gadgets, we are updating our lifestyles. Yet sometimes I think we over romanticize the past. It's true, my great grandma didn't have a refrigerator. I'm sure she would have loved to have it, but that doesn't mean that that was a golden age of health. Every period has its advantages and disadvantages and drawbacks. So I think we need to appreciate and utilize the resources we have today without overcomplicating our lives with diet culture, extreme health trends. Take a step back basically in 2024, and progress doesn't always mean looking back. It's often meaning, building on what we have right now, and that is extremely important. I see a lot of people, a majority of people are lost in the conversations, because in my practice I see a lot of conversations about what is the best water, what is the best position to drink water. But you ask them, are you drinking enough water? And the answer is they're not. So we bring in habit stacking. We tell them, listen, we need to sort this out for you. You have to drink water. And everyone forgets the fact that when it comes to water, the only thing that matters is clean drinking water. Somehow we just lost track of that conversation. And it's about alkaline water, it's about Himalayan water, and I don't know, it's like, hundreds of different types of waters. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yes. Very true. Because as I said, when you stand in the supermarket, it's like zero something,
Yeah.
infused with this, minus this, plus that, all of that, and we're thinking, why not just drink absolutely
Clean
normal
water.
clean water? Very, very true. And I think that's something that we could all use and also save a lot of money
And
because
stress, it takes a lot of stress out of your life.
absolutely. Very, very true. Thank you very much, Lovely, for sharing that with us. And I'm going to move on to Raida now. And I'm going to bring her on. So, Raida, we've established that sleep is very important. We've established that we shouldn't be confused, and if we are confused, how we should write down things and get declutter our mind, and put it out there on paper or laptop or whatever. And then comes the part where a lot of us struggle. So our businesses may not be doing well. We feel we're putting in a lot of effort. We're spending long hours. We're exhausted. And yet we're not seeing results. We're having problems in communicating our programs to other people. There's so many different pressures on us, and we've lost clarity. So I would like to know from you, going into 2024, what is it that people should be looking at in terms of career, in terms of moving up the corporate ladder, in terms of starting their business, or is it all right to close that business and start over again? Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yes, Sandy. So, a lot of people and a lot of books would speak about self development or speak about being adaptable and being resilient and being mindful and agile. And all of these things are very, very important. But with that, you need consistency. And it's very, very hard for people to go through that, because at the end of the day, we're human beings. And as human beings, we also get tired and we stop. So, my advice to people, when you're writing that goal or you're thinking about success, it should be something beyond you. It should be something about how you can give to others. How are you serving? That would keep you going. I mean, the psychologist Susan Albers from Cleveland Clinic, who says, that giving helps you with stimulating the reward center of the brain. I'm not really a neuroscientist, but having these dopamine and oxytocin and serotonin, to keep that release, we have to give. Unfortunately, it is a selfish act, because we need that to keep going. So I think a lot of people need to understand what's your higher purpose. How can you keep going? As a mother, even if you're sick or you're not well, you keep going because you're doing it for somebody else. I think every business whether you think it's the right business or the wrong business. Why are you doing it? And how are you serving in the process? If you feel that you're not serving that purpose or serving businesses or your clients, then maybe you should change the type of serving, not necessarily change the type of service. So everybody needs to understand that.
Quite true. Thank you very much, Raja. And I'm sure in 2024, we'll have a lot of more people reaching out to you. And so now I come to my final speaker, and I'll bring her on now. I'll ask her what is her take on 2024.
I've listened to such amazing information. And I'm just going to say something that might seem totally unconventional because that's me. As a maverick, I'm not here uh, to agree or disagree, but it's very important. And this is what I've learned in my personal journey and working with amazing people who I have as my clients is like we've got to stop this thing of wanting to fit in. We've got to stop this finding fault with ourselves. We've got to stop how it is that we perceive ourselves and make ourselves less. And it's all coming from our thoughts, feelings, and emotions. And the funny thing is this that your thoughts, feelings, and emotions have been instilled. Half of them don't even belong to you, but we carry on running into the loop of going on doing the same thing and expecting a different result. So, my advice to people would be it's time for us to outcreate the status quo because that is what has got us into the loop. And we've got to be able to, I call it the SLA, to stop, to listen, to ask questions, and whatever's showing up in that awareness that you have is what it is that you need to look into. Secondly, we have stopped having fun. I do not see the necessity of being so serious because when you're serious, all your barriers are up and you are not willing to look at anything in a different way. So when you're having fun, what is it that we do for fun? Do we have time for fun nowadays? I doubt it because everyone is on a tight schedule. Everyone is wanting to reach an objective. Someone has to do something. Everyone is wanting to do things so quickly that we lose context of how it is that we're spending time with ourselves. So the third point is please find time for you to enjoy yourself. Find time to really get to know who you are and how you're operating. So apply the SLA. Stop, listen, and ask yourself some questions. Don't wait for the answers because you won't get any. Be aware. Okay? So fun is important. And the third thing that I'd like to say is will you continue to be constant with yourself? No one else is coming to fix you. And guess what? You aren't broken that you need fixing. Okay? You're not broken. So, first and foremost, stop judging yourself. Have joy with whatever it is that you're doing. And for God's sake, as Dr. Shweta said, have clarity. And you can only have clarity when you're asking the questions, right? But do we ask the questions? No. We're trying to do the same thing over and over again and expect a different result. Total insanity, Albert Einstein.
Okay, so Jen, I'm just going to start with you.
Okay.
One final thing. What is your take on this word that we use so often? We read it, we hear it so often. It's called mindset.
I
What's your
personally,
take on
Sandy,
mindset?
yeah, I personally don't actually condone with that word because for me it is like when you're saying mindset, then you are telling me that your mind is set in something. So your mindset is creating all the confusion right now. And for us to lighten up, okay, when I people talk about being enlightened, I said the first step to being enlightened is to lighten up. So get rid of those thoughts, feelings, and emotions first. How do you do that, Sandy? You see, our mind plays a very vital role, okay? The mind is the supreme commander in chief, or we have given it the right. But the funny part is this that we, as the beings, the human being, are the people, and we are the ones who actually give permission to the mind to take all that stuff. So we're busy receiving, receiving, receiving. But the question over here is, can you question what it is you're receiving? Is it working for you, or is it working against you? So if you're having a mindset, then you got to disrupt that. And that's why I'm called the Maverick. My job is to disrupt the mind so-called set, to reset it into something different and have fun doing it. Really, please laugh, joke at yourself, and enjoy what it is that's going on.
Quite
No
true.
need to be
Thank
so
you very much.
serious.
Thank you. Thank you. So I'm going to get back to Dr. Shweta, and I'm going to ask her. So, mindset. Quick take. What do you think about this word mindset?
Right. So you're coming to an important, the thing which is all about, the software and the hardware. So brain is the hardware and mind is the software. Nobody, no scientist until now has ever understood what are the underpinnings of a real mind. Where is the mind? What is the mind? Some say mind is only within the brain. All mind is all over. In fact, physiologically, mind can also be a total mind. It can also be your mind and my mind combined together. So talking about the mindset, actually my thinking is also almost similar to Jennifer mentioned a very important and interesting thing about that. You don't want to be set there, you want to just move. So I would say, look as a thermometer, understand and observe your mind, put your mind on table, do not understand it inside you, so it does not trickle down and cause physical effects, but put it on table, dissect it, make it as a thermometer. Things will go up, things will go down, but be aware, essentially aware, and never try to fix it. Let's say I tell you, Sandy, don't think of a pink elephant, and boom, you go, you just had a pink elephant in your mind. So mind will play all this and do such things. So be aware, be constantly vigilant. That would be my message.
Thank you very much, Dr. Shweta. And I'm now going to move to Lovely. Same question, my dear. Mindset.
So I think I love that question, and when I think over it, I think especially when it comes to the area of nutrition, instead of having a set mind, I think a mind flow would be perfect, because it's crucial to have a flexible approach, right? You have to adapt to new information and personal health needs. Exactly what I mentioned about the when you're 50 years old and you become lactose intolerant, your mind has to shift to that health need. So whether it's, and also remember, whether it's 2024 or 2048, the essentials of maintaining our health remains timeless. So you have to have decisions where, the journey is to optimal health requires a flexible, informed, and growth oriented mind flow. Despite the ever changing landscape of diet trends, take a step back every time you hear some huge trend or a superfood, because those are just passing phases. You don't need to be part of it. So go with the mind flow rather than a set mind. I think that would be perfect.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Lovely. And now coming to Raida. Same question for you, my dear. Mindset.
Yes, hi Sandy. Mindset is a multifaceted concept. It's how we view ourselves and how we react to the outside challenges or opportunities, failures, and success. And when I did the brain-based coaching, we were introduced to the concept of a growth mindset versus a fixed mindset, and it was introduced by Carol Dweck. And they've realized that people who actually have a growth mindset, which is not a fixed one, they are always trying to improve. A fixed mindset looks at flaws as if, we try to hide our flaws because it makes us away from the failures. And for a growth mindset, our flaws are actually to-do lists, okay, to improve. So these are the things I can improve as I go. So my intake for a mindset for 2024 is have a growth mindset and ask for help. And we're there to help you go and navigate your 2024 success.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Raida, for sharing that with us. We're now going to be ending our wonderful interactive session with all our experts. Each one has given their views, and I have to say that there's a lot of convergence, there's a lot of synergy going on with these people, because at the end of the day, they're all saying pretty much the same thing from a different point of view. So, what have I got to say about 2024? So I was looking around and I found this and I said, I have to share this with everybody and also my wonderful guest today. So it says, run from what's comfortable, forget about safety, destroy your reputation, be notorious. I have tried planning and being prudent long enough. From now on, I'm going to be mad. How's that? Right? And then, if you stay in prison when the doors are wide open, who's to blame? Only you, only me. So, from where did I get these pearls of wisdom? It's from a 16th century Persian poet called Rumi. 16th century. We are in 2024, my dear. And this is so relevant. So what I'm saying, and I think I'm speaking for all my guests as well, it's have fun, loosen up, be notorious, do things you wanted to do all your time and you kept thinking, oh, should I do it, should I not? 2024, start it off by doing what nobody expected from you and you didn't expect it from yourself. So that's my advice for 2024. Thank you for watching. And again, remember, very important, you're supposed to get onto the Celestia YouTube channel. You're supposed to like, you're supposed to comment. And more important, everybody watching and all my lovely guests, please do share this wonderful episode in your networks, because that's how we will spread the wonderful word and all the words of wisdom that you have shared with us today. So thank you very much and see you in 2024. God bless. Bye.